Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Ma from holisticvanity.com, and today's video is going to be the 4 things that you didn't know about sun protection. Now, we all know that protecting our skin from the sun is really important to guard against skin cancer, skin damage, and basic inflammation. But it is a lot more complicated than just putting on a hat and wearing your sun protection factor sunscreen. There are a few subtleties, and that's what this video is going to be about today. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is reflection. So often we think about UV rays coming this way, so we wear a nice big wide brimmed hat, but we don't think about the UV rays bouncing off surfaces in this direction. So if you're walking around, the pavement can be reflecting. If you're swimming, the water can be reflecting them, and in my case it could be the sand. So the other day I was hanging out in the shade, but very close to some sand that was bouncing UV rays, very sunny sand, and all this part of my body got burnt, and all this part was fine because it was only surrounded by shade and shaded areas, but this was close to a very sunny, hot, sandy patch that was reflecting UV rays onto that side. Even I forget, but again, it's really important about knowing, even if sometimes you forget. The second thing I want to inform you about is about calculating your SPF factor. So I have a whole video on this about what is SPF, how to calculate it, but the short version of this is that if you burn in 1 minute and you apply a 30 SPF, you will now burn in 30 minutes. So it's just about elongation. A lot of people think it's a more thorough, a more powerful filtration of UV rays as you go up in SPF, but it's really just about the elongation of your burn time. So this is really important in deciding what SPF you're going to use, what products you're going to use. Are you walking to in front of your car and you're just getting all year round protection and you need a lower SPF? Or are you going on a beach vacation? Are you going to be biking and doing outdoor activities for hours at a time? You're going to need a lot higher, more intense SPF. And this leads into my third tip, and it's all about shade breaks. So if you get a 30 SPF, some people think they just reapply after the 30 minutes and it sort of like re-stimulates the SPF. That's not the case. You actually have to go out of the sun, cool your skin down in the shade, bring down that inflammation. You can also reapply, and then again, that's when that 30 SPF will kick in again. You get another 30 minutes. It's really about shade breaks. I think that when you're using a 60 even or 100, there's still the use and function for shade breaks. And then the fourth tip is about the fact that inflammation and damage come from more than just the sun. You can get sun damage, or pigmentation rather, from other sources than UV rays. Primarily in the source of heat and internal inflammation. So these shade breaks are actually really great because you're cooling your skin down, and so you're not as inflamed from the heat, as well as not being exposed to UV rays. Some people get actually pregnancy masks from the inflammation of the different hormonal changes happening while pregnant. You can get liver spots from dysfunction of liver, which is also causing inflammation. So any type of inflammation is trauma to your tissue. It results in trauma to your tissue, and then you get a darkening. So that's why scars will also darken if you have a pimple or a scrape or whatnot. It's trauma, inflammation translating into darkness. So you need to know that there's lots of different sources, and again, one is high temperatures and actual the feeling of heat, and then there's also internal inflammation. So now that you know that, you're informed that sun protection goes well beyond just a hat and sunscreen. It's the different angles of UV rays. It's about taking shade breaks. It's about knowing what SPF you need to use, and the fact that damage can come from many different sources, any type of inflammation. So if you want to know any more about sun, this is actually part of a sun series that I have. You can check it out on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/holisticvanity, or my website, which is holisticvanity.com.